This is Rob TEBBUTT for Behind the Gloves. I'm here with Eddie Hearn at the JD Next Gen show at York Hall. We've just got finished. Eddie, I want to start at the end. That was some fight between Rhys Bellotti and Jason Cunningham for the Commonwealth Heavyweight title. Yeah, let's start there.
Yeah, they're the great fights that really are special at York Hall. You know, sometimes you can get those fights at the O2 at 6 o'clock and there's a couple of thousand people in there, and it doesn't really get the same kind of buzz or the same feeling. And there's something very special about those Commonwealth and British title fights at York Hall, and it was a great performance from Bellotti, and to be honest with you, from Cunningham as well, because he was clearly winning the fight, Jason Cunningham, as far as I'm concerned, after 4 rounds. And then I just felt like the pace was so intense, and Rhys Bellotti punches so hard that it was only a matter of time till he got hold of him, and when he did, it was a devastating finish. Now,
comments that you made the other day, you said Rhys Bellotti sold out half of Watford to come to York Hall. It seemed like he's actually sold out more than half of Watford. It was some atmosphere in here. Now, one thing that I said to somebody ringside is I felt that Rhys boxed to the crowd in the first couple of rounds. I think he kind of abandoned his boxing. He
just does, Rob, to be honest with you. I mean, he's not the most technically gifted fighter, and he was getting pinged left, right and centre at times in there tonight. But there's certain styles that are going to suit Rhys Bellotti, and there's certain styles that aren't going to suit Rhys Bellotti. A 6 foot, tall, rangy, counter-punching southpaw is definitely not going to suit Rhys Bellotti.
It's not really on the top of everybody's wishes.
But now he's dealt with it, you know, and he's dealt with it in style, and it's all part of learning. And, you know, he'll learn an awful lot from that tonight, because there were at times where his mouth was busted up, and I was thinking, you know, this is really going one way. But when he gets the opportunity to trade, honestly, one of the hardest punching featherweights in the world, not just domestically, but has a lot to learn. But you know, he's now WBC International Commonwealth champion as well, so you know he's moving in the right direction.
How much do you think he'll benefit from having a fight like that? Because he has, I mean, obviously it's part of the fact that he is such a talented fighter that he's had things relatively his own way in the ring so far. How much do you think he'll benefit of having that kind of gut check? He was a little bit busted up and he had to really bite through. So how do you think he'll benefit from that?
Well, a lot, and you know, it's a big jump for him tonight. And no disrespect to Jamie Spate and Di Davis, but that was the level that he was boxing at. Now he's moved and boxed Jason Cunningham, who is much beyond those levels. A clever fighter. And again, you know, if he didn't get hold of him, it might have been a different result in there tonight. But Rhys will generally get hold of him because he's relentless. He throws a lot of punches. You know, he's technically better than he looks as well sometimes, and he hits very, very hard. So, you know, he's going to learn an awful lot from that tonight. And I'm excited about his future. Like I said, he's very popular. You know, he's a good kid. You know, he really trains hard. He lives the life, and we don't know how far it's going to go. But you know, in boxing, when you can punch like that, it's a big advantage. You know, I often say to people, if you can't punch, you've got a long career ahead of you. And I'm not sure how far you can go. You've got to be able to hit hard in this sport. Because Rhys Bellotti can knock any featherweight out at any time. But he has a lot to learn.
Yeah, I mean, that first knockdown was...
But that's when he starts trading. And what happens is he puts so much pressure under you, you have no choice but to start trading. You know, in an ideal world, I'm sort of Steffi Ball would have said, whatever you do, don't trade, don't stand and trade with this kid. And the game plan was perfect, wasn't it? 4 rounds, off the jab, straight right hand, the uppercuts inside.
It
was, and all of a sudden he's under so much pressure. Oh, I'm in the pocket, I've got to trade with him, bang, and it was all over from that shot. Never really gonna you know.
So where does he go next from here? Obviously he's added the Commonwealth title. Are you looking at British, are you looking at European? I mean, what's next for Rhys Bellotti?
Yeah, I'd like probably a defence of the Commonwealth title, but definitely the British title. You know, I think Ryan Walsh he's won the belt outright, so he'll probably be giving it up at some point. No rush, 11 fights, 10 KO wins. But you know, when you've won the WBC International, you won the Commonwealth, it's like a natural progression to keep going. So I think probably one more Commonwealth title defence, and then look to bring the British title next year.
Okay, and looking back at the rest of the card, there was obviously some great standout wins for Isaac Chamberlain, boxed very nicely, Natasha Jonas as well. I mean, whose performances were you really looking out for? Who impressed you?
I think Isaac's impressing me. You know, he's putting the work in. You know, he's been out sparring with Usyk. You know, he's worked very, very hard. I think he's kind of you know, he's kind of not treading water, but he's waiting for that title fight now. And I think the Luke Watkins fight is a good fight for Isaac to look at. And you know, I think so is the Lawrence-Okolie fight. You know, I really look at that fight, and as a promoter, I sort of lick my lips and think, I want to see that fight. I do, but I'd like to see it with a belt attached, and you know, perhaps spring next year for that one. A disappointing defeat for William Webber. Bit bad knockout. You know, again, if you stand and trade with these guys who can punch, you know, you're going to be in trouble. And Charlie Edwards, who's really sort of ticking, waiting. He was supposed to fight for the WBA international title tonight. Opponent pulled out, and thank you.
9:30 last night.
Thank you very much to the opponent who jumped in. You know, who actually has boxed before. Cheers, boys. And you know, he's just ticking over now, waiting for that big fight.
Well, where are you looking at with Charlie? Obviously, we saw his sort of his rival. You know, they've had a bit of back and forth. Andrew Selby was in the ring last week, moved into WBC contention. That's a fight that's been spoken about for quite a long time. Is that something that you're looking at?
He's moved up to super fly, and flyweight was a struggle, and that was the main reason. I mean, Charlie wants to fight Cal Yafai, you know, and Cal Yafai is looking at the unifications as well. But if they're not there, you know, I mean, Cal's got a tough fight against Sho Ishida on the October 28th Joshua card. He's 24-0. He's the mandatory, but if he comes through that, you know, I wouldn't rule out a Charlie Edwards defence in December. But Cal's looking for the big fights and the unifications as well. Yeah, I mean, he's completely blessed. I mean, I know it's something that you said. I said it to you a lot. You know, I say, you can't believe that you're in a division that is a money spinning division and you're 8 stone 3. You know. So I think my leg weighs 8 stone 3, but he's a top fighter, and I believe he can go and dominate a division in some very tough fights. Okay, and moving ahead, next week we have Ryan Burnett. Great fight, yeah. Great fight. Yeah, it's one I'm really looking forward to. You know, obviously a unification fight, IBF and WBA. It's a massive step up for Ryan Burnett. Even though Lee Haskins is a good fighter, Zakyanov very tough. Just stylistically, such a great fight because Zakyanov will not stop coming forward. The Rossi Warren fight. Yeah, exactly. And these guys have sparred many rounds. You know, you got the Adam Booth, Ricky Hatton match up there as well. Got a great crowd in. It's going to be a really good fight next week. Now I want to talk to you about Jamie Cox, who fights tomorrow against George Groves. First of all, I want to know how you see that fight going. It's a tough fight for Jamie. I think it's an unbelievable opportunity. You know, he signed with us, he had one fight at Bramall Lane, next thing he's in the Super Series, he's fighting for a world title. When you talk, we go back again to being able to punch, and Jamie Cox can really punch. So he has the equaliser at any time in that fight. Groves is bigger than him, there's no denying that. But, you know, Cox looks at this opportunity as absolutely golden. So I think I give Jamie Cox a lot more of a chance than people do. I believe he can knock George Groves out. I don't believe Groves is the fighter that we saw in, particularly Froch 1. But it's hard to be. He's had a lot of tough fights since, but he's still an excellent fighter. But I think, you know, people talk about Groves, Eubank and stuff like that. I just think it could be set up for an upset tomorrow with Jamie Cox. I was just about to come on to that actually. Naturally, you've taken my question. People are talking, putting the horse before the cart a little bit, in my opinion, with the whole Groves Eubank talk. How big a fight, conversely, is Jamie Cox versus Chris Eubank? Not as big as George Groves versus Eubank. Although if Cox knocks out Groves tomorrow night, it becomes a much bigger fight. You know, I think the thing with the tournament is you know who you're fighting next and how much you're getting. So it's not like, you know, you're sitting there going, oh, this could be 1 million pay-per-view buys and we'd earn X. So I think people are saying, oh, do you think they're looking ahead? Not really, because they know what's happening if they win. So I think both guys are focused on the win. It's a good fight, you know, and I really give Jamie a great chance. I'd love to see him do it. He really believes he can do it. We believe he can do it, and you know, like I said, he can really punch. Okay, and moving completely away from that, something a little bit different. You're branching out, Eddie. You're stateside these days. It's not going down very well. Oasis let me get on to the question first. Oasis couldn't crack America, but apparently Eddie Hearn is going to try to. Lou DiBella. Yeah, my mate Lou. Your mate Lou has had some things to say. Why don't you talk about that a little bit? I'm just grateful for the exposure. I saw one from Richard Schaefer this morning as well. Are you going to do it? I don't know. Your Richard Schaefer? No, I can't, because he told me off. Did he? He said that if I'm mean to people, like doing impressions, that I've got to be careful. But I just thought it was funny, personally. I know. But Lou, listen, Lou's Lou. He's very hot-headed. He's, you know, he's not. How did it come about? I mean, because obviously, there's obviously the fact that he's involved with Deontay Wilder as well. What happened is, I said that Deontay Wilder needs to raise his profile in America. And he called me up and said, You can't say
no
that.
impressions.
No, Lou, I don't do a very good Lou impression. He just said that you're saying that I'm a shit promoter. I said no. I just said Deontay Wilder needs to raise his profile in America.
Little bit of a,
and then all my conversations with Deontay Wilder's team in terms of offers haven't been with Lou DiBella, and Lou DiBella doesn't call the shots. You know, Lou DiBella's not his own boss. So, and I think sometimes, you know, that fact lodges in his mind, and he just knows that. But honestly, like, I will work with anybody. That fight that I've got on November the 11th, I'm working with Rock Nation with Luis Arias. I'm working with Salita Promotions and Greg Cohen Promotions with Jarrell Miller. I'm working with Marius Wax team. I've just done a fight tonight with Clayton Seldin against Ortiz. Ortiz is with Golden Boy, Seldin's with Star Promotions, and Joe DeGuardia. I don't care, like, but these people become so bitter in boxing, and I always say, and I don't blame them, because it's a horrible business and it can drive you that way. And maybe one day I'll be the same, but it's like, in my life, I only wish people well, and when I see people doing well, trust me, the first thing that comes into my head is, well done, son, good luck to you. These people would stick pins in your voodoo doll sitting there. They'd love you to fail. But the worst thing is, that makes me so motivated. You know, like, if I was them, I'd be going, yeah, Eddie, come on in, man, come round for a coffee. Because I might just take myself. Now, I watch that, I watch Schaefer, I watch Lou DiBella, and I think, oh mate, I'm going to show you. You know, and it just motivates me. It's all a game. It's not like, I like these guys. But it's exactly the same when I come into the UK market. Everyone was slagging me off. Oh, this geezer, what does he think he's doing? Walks in, because people are afraid. You know, people don't want the competition. I like the competition. Surely
it's good. One's good for, I don't know the expressions. One good for the goose is good for.
Yeah, but people don't like competition. Why would you rant and rave in an interview about me? Unless, one, you had the ump about it. Two, you were fearful of me. Three, you actually think. And if you don't think that I have the potential to be a force in the US market, you're stupid. I'm not saying I'm going to take over boxing in America. It might happen. But if you don't think I can be a force in America, you're an idiot. You know, and Richard Schaefer's, you know, he was saying, you know, I like Eddie Hearn, but he only got the Sky dates because of his dad, and he's never built a fighter, and Frank Warren's a better fighter. I was like, okay, Richard.
You know what they say? They say anything that's said before the word but.
Yeah, but yeah, true. But Richard's job, his job with the World Boxing Super Series is to bring in US TV and bring in big name American fighters. So we're going to have a lot of fun. I'm going to upset a lot of people. It's just I don't mean harm. I like it to be fun, you know, and I think the fans like it as well. I think the fans like a little bit of beef between the promoters as well, and you're going to see beef because these guys don't like me.
What's your USP? What are you going at? Why should American fight fans watch Eddie Hearn shows?
Because they're going to be fresh. They're going to be exciting. I think we're going to bring a different audience. I think, you know, you're going to see people dressing up. You're going to see more women at the events. You're going to see more music. You're going to see an experience, a night out. And you're going to see great fights, because at the end of the day, it's about the content, it's about the quality, it's about the sport. But if you can dress that up with a night out that people actually, you know, it's sexy to go to these shows. We need to make boxing sexy again in America. UFC is. You know, we can do it. We've done it over here, and we'll do it all over again. But
will we be here in Sweet Caroline in America?
Maybe. They're talking about
at Crawford.
Yeah, they're talking about Come On Arlene. Apparently, is one over. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
We'll see how
again, it's going to take time. I'm not an idiot to say, oh, well, watch me go on November 11th. There's going to be 12,000 people in there dancing to Sweet Caroline. You know, but over time, and even since we've come in, you know, the amount of interest we've had from broadcasters, from news outlets, from brands has already shown me. People are excited by this. So I hope Lou and Richard can get excited too.
We'll see.
Even at their age.
Eddie, that wasn't very nice.
Just joking, boys.
That wasn't very nice. Right. Okay, moving on finally, I appreciate your time. I know you're dressed like somebody who's looking to get out of it quickly.
Yeah, do you know what? I was at my daughter's birthday party.
Look at that.
And I didn't know that I was...
Everybody who thinks that Eddie Hearn lives in a suit.
Exactly. But when people see me out of a suit, they go, you look really weird.
You look like Eddie Hearn.
I do actually wear like... And then Sky said, oh, we need to get you on TV. I was like, no, please. And then my Twitter's been going mad, like, what is that jumper? So
got the roll neck.
no, the roll neck will be out soon. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
No,
What did you ask me again? I can't even remember.
What? I don't even know. We just talked about
lastly.
Yeah. Lastly, I was talking nonsense.
Yeah.
Lastly, Anthony Joshua.
Yeah.
A couple of weeks time.
Yeah.
How are things in preparation for that? We're arrowing down. I overheard you say that Anthony Joshua is the biggest star in world boxing.
Yeah.
Confused me because I thought it was you.
No. As we said, inside the ring. No, he's the biggest star. Listen, Floyd Mayweather was the biggest star in world boxing, but now it's Anthony Joshua. It's a tough fight against Pulev. You know, people just presume Joshua's going to walk through people. Pulev's a top 5 heavyweight in anyone's book. It's a real fight, and it's a great card. Yafai defending his world title. Katie Taylor challenging for a world title. Cordina in his first title fight. Buatsi, Dave Allen. Buglioni against Callum Johnson, which is a great fight, and Dillian White's opponent finally will be announced tomorrow.
Could you tell me who?
No.
Come on, I'm the only person who's hanging around to wait for you. Even like this, I want to interview you in your jeans and your jumper. I've got to go and sign
a contract when I get home. It's a real...
Is it a good one?
It's a good fight. It's a good fight, yeah.
Well, you're going to give me an easy fight.
I know. It's good, wasn't it?
Yeah, cracking fight.
Just can't get you by yourself. But okay, and lastly, I know I said it was going to be my last one, Eddie. But hey, Bellew, do you have any update on the undercard?
Working on that. You're going to get a few announcements next week. Some really good fights, and I think you're going to be pleased with the undercard, and also I believe the main event is a great heavyweight fight. Now, last time people were like, it's a bit of a freak show. Bellew's got now a chance. Now you realise it's a great fight, So I believe our man's going to do the business.
Okay, well, Eddie Hearn, thank you very much for speaking to me. I do appreciate it. You look like you're about to shoot off outside.
I am.
But yes, thanks very much for speaking to Behind the Gloves. I hope your daughter has enjoyed her birthday, and hopefully you can spend more time in your jeans and jumper coming up soon.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers, mate.
Hi, fans. It's Michelle Joy Phelps, and if you haven't already subscribed to my YouTube channel, make sure you go ahead and do so by clicking right here.